This is my interview with my grandma, and she has been a Detroit Tigers fan since she was a little girl. And so, Grandma, how old were you when you were first exposed to baseball?
Oh, I might have been 5 or 6 years old at the time. I don't recall too many things about it, but uh, I may have been a little older than that. It may have been after my brother, who is 4 years younger than I am, was born, and when he was old enough to understand what was happening. Uh, my dad, who was a very avid Tigers fan and hardly ever missed a game. I would listen to the games with him on radio because at the time there was no television, and he particularly liked to listen to the games even after TV became popular. And I would ask him questions about why certain things were happening, and he would be very good in his explanations about why a certain play was made or why a player did something in particular. And I don't remember specific instances, but I do remember the general feeling that I would get that that my dad, who my children called Papa, had such wonderful knowledge about the game and the Tigers.
And when would you say you started becoming a fan of the Tigers? What age or around the time?
A true fan, I think, was shortly before the 1984 World Series. That was when I really became very much involved with listening and watching the games particularly, and going to games, and a feeling that I wanted to follow them from start to finish.
Oh, okay. So how old were you when you went to your first game?
When I watched my first game on TV?
Or you attended your first game?
I went to games when I was a teenager with my brother and my sister and my mother. And I do remember one particular game when a foul ball was hit in our direction, and my mother, the ball actually fell in her lap. And I also remember another game when she threw her body over my sister to try to protect her because the ball was heading that way.
Oh. Did she get hurt?
No, nobody ever got hurt, but we went to quite a few games with my dad at the time, and at Tiger Stadium. And I remember one time we sat all the way up on the third deck, which was supposed to be, at the time that we were there, very popular, not popular, but like premium seats, so that you could watch the game. You were almost private. It was almost like a private suite that they have now at Comerica Park.
When you were watching the games, did you put other things on hold in order to attend or watch a game?
Yes. Recently, when I've had more time, I make sure that I've had my dinner so that I can watch the game, because in the kitchen, the TV that I have does not have cable, so I'm unable to watch the games on it. So I make sure that I eat dinner and have finished before the game starts. And I try not to accept any social obligations when the games are on.
Did you have a favorite Tigers player when you were young?
Hank Greenberg.
Why?
Well, first of all, his religion was the same as mine. That was sort of a childish reason, but...
Do you want to tell us what your religion is?
Yes, I'm Hebrew.
Okay.
And he was also Jewish. And, I don't know, he just sort of I guess, because he was very well known, and he was an excellent player, and his statistics were wonderful. He was a home run hitter, which was exciting, and he wasn't just the run-of-the-mill player. He was really exceptional.
And what years did he play?
Just before and after the World War II, in the 1940s.
Speaking of World War II, were games any different during that time? Because of the war that was going on?
Yes, we were minus quite a few players, like Hank Greenberg did leave the team and
To attend the war.
He served during the war. I don't recall the exact years that he was missing, but I believe that he was back in 1945 and participated in the 1945 World Series, which the Tigers won.
Do you have an all-time favorite player?
At the present moment,
Yes.
whoever happens to be very lucky or very good at the moment or very hot.
Okay. Do you notice any differences in the way the game is played today versus how they played when you were younger?
Well, the only difference that I have that I can compare to years ago is use of the DH, the designated hitter today, which they didn't use in the years that I was growing up. I don't recall the exact year that they started using the designated hitter, which the National League at this moment, the Tigers are in the American League, and the National League rules are they don't use the designated hitter. And when they have interleague play, whichever ballpark they're playing in is the ballpark, either they use it or they don't. In the National League parks they don't, and in the American League parks they do.
And could you elaborate more what a designated hitter is?
When you don't use the designated hitter, the pitcher bats. And when you do use one, the pitcher does not bat, and they use a hitter they use a player that only comes to the plate and hits and bats. He doesn't play in the field.